So I'm going to be teaching Luke how to use AI to grow his social media a lot more. And so we're going to use Kenny as an example. I've already have it set up in ChatGPT. I said, can you write me an email to a super warm list about how I lost $2.5 million? Go over what happened, how I lost the emotion, how I lost the money, and the emotions I felt. And how I bounced back. How the wisdom led me to make the decisions I have over the past few years. Please don't use any weird adjectives. And so you see, these are not great instructions. It's kind of just bullet points of instructions that I want. And then I put the transcript of the video. The video is just called How I Lost $2.5 million. And so this is what it's going to spit back to me. And so let's see. So the subject's not that good, but we're going to change a lot of it. All this is doing is really taking down the amount of time that we have to spend on it. Why don't you rewrite this hook to make it a little bit better? And so this is the psychological impact that is really important, because AI is going to synthesize what you're doing to a really high degree, and it's going to streamline the work that you're doing. But it's not necessarily best for just posting what you get. And that's what I see a lot of people do. I see so many people post clear AI written content, which is going to hurt your reputation. AI can do a lot of the work, but not nearly all of it. And usually what I find, Luke, is it's super bad with the first line and the last line, but it's really good for the middle.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing about what ChatGPT gave us here. This second line is really good. I haven't even read it, but I can see it's good because it's mentioned a ton of very specific numbers. 2.5 billion, 3 billion in real estate, 300 employees, 10,000 tenants. Those are, I don't know Ken, but I know those are all correct. Because we've had so many conversations about how Ken does business. And even the second paragraph as well.
This is great.
I can see that I don't even have to read it to know that's good.
Yeah, 20 years ago, we invested in a 310-unit apartment building in Scottsdale, Arizona for $31 million. At the time, should I space it out?
Yeah, for
every sentence, yeah. At the time, the plan was simple. Buy apartments at $10,000, $100,000 per unit, fix them up and sell them as condos for over $200,000 each. We've done this successfully in Las Vegas, Portland, and Arizona before, so it seemed like another home run.
So this is something else that's super important in copywriting and writing emails. Every single line has to have a new piece of information on it. It has to have a new statistic. So I don't even have to read that, and I can see that there's new information or new statistics on every single line. This is something that I used to fuck up with a lot, because I used to try to talk too much, and I'd be talking about the same piece of information for like 3 sentences, and I'd be over fluffing it, and it's just bullshit. All the best writers I've ever talked to, they say you need to cut out like 80% of it. Like all killer, no filler. That's a really popular line in the copywriting space. And I can see that there's very little filler in this email that your specifically trained clone has spat out to us in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would say if you do this with ChatGPT itself, it's not going to be as good. So what I did to train this is, one, I put all of Russell Brunson's books in there. That's why I called it Russell Brunson Clone. But then what I did is I found all the most popular Twitter threads that I could find that got 10 million plus views, and I just put them in it and said, train yourself to write like this.
Nice.
And so even if I didn't understand the psychology with it, which it's important that I do, the AI will start to learn it. And so when I say to reverse engineer what people better than you are doing, and results show that they are better. I mean, it's a pretty clear thing. People enjoy reading their stuff and they don't yours, or anything that really catches my attention, I'm going to try and have the AI learn from it. But then what I find really important is just then putting everything in Ken's tonality. So then when I train it to think like Ken and talk like Ken, see here when I said, I want you to go over the emotions that Ken felt when I lost this money. I mean, that is, how can an AI express emotions? And we haven't read this yet, so we don't know what it's going to say, but I guarantee you this is going to go over some of the emotional pitfalls that Ken felt, which that would be really interesting. So we financed the deal with traditional loan and a mezzanine loan. So with this, I'm going to put in B-roll because we already put it in the YouTube video, and I know that because I went over it with the editor. And so this is going to be B-roll that can be used in the email and the tweet thread, because most people won't know what a mezzanine loan is. So we have a graphic design to show that with Ken's actual deal.
And you're going to insert that into the email?
Yeah. And so I'll show you how I'm going to do that.
And like this process of training ChatGPTs and AI, like I was literally last week looking for someone to potentially come on and write newsletters for me. And I've been thinking about it more and more, and especially being around you again, it's like, hang on a minute, why don't I just try to throw these transcripts into ChatGPT? And like, I think it's saving me a lot of money.
Well, and I am all for spending money to expand a team. And I was telling Luke that I would do this myself because it's so easy. So, like that says something, because I would want to hire someone for every possible thing so I don't have to do it. And so this is B-roll that's very important, and this is great stuff. It has the Ken McElroy logo. It's specified, and that's great stuff. And I know the other ones that are in here that I'm going to plug into the tweet thread. Or this is not just going to be an email. It's going to be a tweet thread. It's going to be a YouTube post. It's going to be on everything, because that's how you get the most results for the least amount of effort possible. So then the great financial crisis hit. Boom. Is that a good enough hook? The credit markets dried up. Investors who had committed to buying couldn't get financing, leaving us with 150 unrenovated and 75 renovated but unsold units. The rents couldn't cover expenses. It was a financial disaster.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's that paragraph starts off with two very short sentences.
Yeah.
The financial crisis hit. It was a disaster, or whatever it said. Like that's kind of, I don't like to do that all the time, but there's like a rule. It's called the 1-1-3 rule. So a lot of the biggest writers in the space use this rule. So what that means is you need to try to make information as digestible as possible to read. So a really interesting strategy is what the big writers do is they have one sentence up separated at the top of the paragraph, but they separate it, right? And then they have like a more complicated mix of three sentences together. So it's a little bit more difficult to read, but it gives the person a reward when they finish that paragraph, right? And then you give them a little bit of a treat at the bottom, which is a number one, and that's a simple, easy to read one sentence. So that kind of paragraph that you just showed me, it kind of reminded me of that. You have a really short sentence at the very top, that's your one. Then you have a little bit more complex sentence in the middle, which is more like your 2 or 3 sentences, and then you have another one at the bottom. That could be irrelevant and a little bit too complex. But
Well, you know what I did? Because Luke always told me you have to have a 1-3-1, I put the 1-3-1 transcript or everything to train the AI to say, this is great, use it whenever you find it necessary.
very cool. Maybe that's what the AI did.
I was taking it straight from Luke's book.
There you go. There you go.
But this just means a lot of people's jobs are going to be replaced, because this is the beginning. AI will never be worse than this.
Yeah.
And it is getting, from when I started this, it was almost unusable, to where it is now. It is doing all of the work for me, to where this is really only going to take me 5-10 minutes max. And I don't post anything. I'll send that to other people, because that kind of takes a lot of time, and I don't deal with that stuff. But to actually do this, to have it effective, it is ridiculously low effort. This I'm just going to cut. This I'm going to cut. I got to think of a better conclusion. The conclusions and the intros are usually terrible, but then everything else is good.
What's the call to or what is the objective for this email?
It would be get them to watch the full YouTube video. So we kind of want to leave them on a cliffhanger to what to do now. And so that's why I'm kind of to mix and match this, to say basically this is just part of the story. How does this relate to today? You need to find out with the full story. You need to find out with this full YouTube video we just did on the subject. So maybe cut all this stuff out, and then we say, if you want to see...
I actually like the stuff you have.
Yeah,
because you can jump straight into nearly a call to action line from what you have.
So here, the master will take over. What would you say?
Well, the master needs steak. It's 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock, and we haven't had breakfast. But I would say something along the lines of something has changed today. While most people would think that deploying $1 billion into real estate today is not a good idea with interest rates being as high as they are, in the plan that we lay out in our most recent video, we show you why the common consensus is wrong about this. That's too wordy and terrible,
but let's write that in the ChatGPT and make it better. So this is very, very easy stuff to do. So if you're looking for a business opportunity, becoming a copywriter today is super, super easy. It also means a lot of copywriters are going to be going out of business because this is so easy. But there's a short-term opportunity to work with older people, older businesses, and to do this kind of work for them. A lot of young people are going to be doing this naturally, but there's a massive business opportunity to integrate yourself into somebody's business and provide a ton of value while they're still tired. And I'm going to go over why Luke's writing style does not work as good for someone like Ken. And I'm going to simplify this with ChatGPT because Luke writes with hyperbole better than AI, but Ken doesn't speak like that. And so when we're going for congruency,
And why I actually kind of like that.
I'm not gonna say.
Still too complex?
No, I explain why the crowd is reply. Let's see. Let me put it in and see how it works.
The only thing I would change is this last line. Why I've already started my ambitious plan.
Yeah.
That needs different wording. That needs to be something like.
It needs to, so what you need to accomplish here is the solution to somebody's unresolved tension is to watch this full video. That's the feeling that you're trying to create. That's the same feeling that you're trying to create to get someone to click a video. There's an unresolved tension that you create where the only way it is fulfilled is if they watch the video. And then the introduction to the video fulfills that tension but provides another one to where they need to continue to watch the video. And throughout the video, you continue to have these it's just the basics of storytelling. You need to have tension, and you don't even necessarily have to overcome it. You just need to build that tension to where people, or curiosity to where they need to keep on reading. So the way we finish this off, I'm going to try and create an unresolved tension to where the only way they can resolve it is to watch this full YouTube video that we want them to get them to. That's going to have the highest conversions.
So the tension, the reason I added that line in about interest rates, most people believe the Federal Reserve is about to cut interest rates, and that means mortgage rates are about to get cheaper. So I think the tension we want to create is to try to get the viewer thinking, hang on a minute, I don't want to invest real estate right now. Like most people are seeing all of the doom videos. Oh, don't invest in real estate, interest rates are about to be cut. The tension we want to create is, hang on a minute, why is this billionaire right now about to invest $1 billion into real estate? I don't know if that's going to be the right angle we go with, but that's why I think it's worth mentioning, hey, interest rates are over 5% today. The common consensus or the herd thinks it's a bad idea to invest with rates this high. But why is Ken not following the herd? Why is he already beginning to invest today?
So throwing in an unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Because that forces them to watch the video.
Right? You're like, what am I missing out on?
Yeah.
Because all I'm hearing about is this.
Yeah.
But what does this guy know about? It's different.
Exactly. And you actually had the authority to position yourself as the billionaire. So everybody wants to know what the billionaires are doing.
So it's easy to make an outlier video for an outlier person.
Yeah.
When you are doing this for someone like Joe Schmoes, like me and Luke, you have to figure out a way to spin an idea to make it interesting. And so what me and PJ have been studying a ridiculous amount is Ryan Trahan. The reason for that is because he takes the most boring subjects in the entire world and makes them interesting. So what does he do? He stays at hotels. That's the overall basics of an idea. And I'm gonna finish this, but I'm gonna go and show you just what his videos actually are and how we break them down. Because we'll watch his videos and take extensive notes on why he's doing what he's doing and why is he getting 10 million views per videos when I'll tell you what these ideas are, that the principle of what he's actually doing. He stayed at hotels. He sat on airline seats. He flew on a plane. And this got 21 million views.
He slept.
Yeah. And so I stayed at hotels at Disney World. If anybody watching this made that video, it would completely fail. So what you have to think about is, how did this guy make something so uninteresting and make it so incredibly popular? This is one that we've studied a ton. I survived the world's loudest room. I thought it was the most quiet. Yep, this is the one. He did the same video twice because it was an outlier on his channel. I survived the world's quietest room. What did he do? He sat in silence for 41 minutes. That is what he did in the video, so why did it get 24 million views? Because he's putting a unique spin on it. He survived the world's quietest room. That is incredibly intriguing because it doesn't make sense. It looks like he's going clinically insane in the thumbnail. The thumbnail is obviously amazing, but then in the video, he provides these incredible stakes where people are going insane when they go into this room. There's a potentiality that we are going to have to become a mental institute afterwards. And so then it drags you into the storyboard to where you need to watch the video to fulfill this unfulfilled desire.
I think it's also what I really like about that video as well is it's 8 minutes long, but he's showing you he survived 41 minutes in the quietest room. I think if the video was 41 minutes long, I'm not sure someone would have watched the whole thing or clicked on it because they would have thought, hang on a minute, this dude's just sitting in a room for 41 minutes? That's a little bit long. But I find it interesting that video performed so well while only being 8 minutes long.
Yeah, but even just, I stayed at hotels. The way that you put a spin on it, what are the unique angles that you can put on anything? That's what I try. For Ken, it's super, super easy. I like to work with outlier people. I'll give you a video that we just recorded with Ken, how I raised $43 million in 6 days.
Yeah.
And so our ideal audience is accredited investors because we want people to invest in this fund. We want high net worth individuals. So every high net worth individual would be interested in this video, but also me and Luke if you would be interested in that video from a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, most people watching would be interested in that video. So we're casting a wide net of a ton of people that are going to be potentially interested, with the target being our ideal audience. Someone like Ryan Trahan, he just wants everyone to watch his videos, mainly younger people, because that's who watches his videos. So when you have a business type of niche, people say, oh, I can never get a lot of views. That is not necessarily the case. You can target your direct personal audience that you want to target at the same time that you are casting a wide net. And I've done that with Ken a bunch of times. Some videos are directly for accredited investors and they don't get a lot of views, but they serve different purposes. Anyway, that is a topic for a different video. That is more so my bread and butter. This is just what I do on the side for fun, but it's still interesting. So keep going, Luke. Sorry.
No, it is interesting. I was just going to chime in. Like, that idea, if you're creating YouTube videos, you need to try to appeal to the widest audience possible. What you just mentioned is really interesting because it's something I'm struggling with right now. So I have a video idea. The video idea is why I spent $30,000 in 2024 to be a digital nomad. But I have a Bitcoin specific niche. So my first title that I plan on using for the first 6 hours, it has to appeal to my current subscribers who are Bitcoiners. So I need to make a change in that title, and I need to make it sound something like why I spent 0.5 Bitcoin to travel the world. Because that's going to appeal a lot to my Bitcoin audience. But if I want that video to go viral, I need to appeal to a wider audience outside of the Bitcoin space. So after 6 hours time, I plan on changing this video's title and thumbnail to not actually mention Bitcoin. And it's going to be changed from why I spent 0.5 Bitcoin to travel the world in 2024 to why I spent $45,000 in 2024 to travel the world and make millions. So it's all about trying to appeal to a broader audience, because once you put yourself in a niche, whether that be a Bitcoin niche like me or like a real estate niche like Ken, you need those little strategies to appeal to someone outside that niche. So Ken is aiming to go from real estate to wider business. I think wider business and entrepreneurship and making money is a broader niche with more people in it than just real estate.
Yeah, but having the first title and thumbnail is crucial, because the way the YouTube algorithm works is it's first going to send your video out to the people who normally watch your videos. So the first initial group who watches your videos, if they don't watch it, YouTube's not going to start sending it out to the second group. Yeah. And so if your first initial audience responds well to it, then it's gonna, your diehard fans, then it's gonna start to send it out to people who casually watch your videos, then people who watch your videos maybe once. Then it's going to be people who watch similar videos in the same niche. Then it's going to be people who watch similar videos in different niches. Then it's going to be similar videos. That's how you go viral. It has to appeal to a wider and wider crowd. And so you can do this strategically by starting with a title and thumbnail that appeals to your crowd and people who know you, like you, trust you, and then go to someone who has no clue who you are. And you could sometimes do that in the same title and thumbnail. This is a video that I've done with Ken that it applies broad to everybody, but also to his niche. We're $2 billion in debt. Here's what banks don't want you to know about money. And then the thumbnail's him and Robert Kiyosaki on a jet with how much debt they're in. So that is something that is going to appeal to his audience, but also to a wider audience. Sometimes you don't have that option. So this is just kind of the mixer and matcher that you have to do.
And to put maybe a graphic or an illustration behind the point that you were just mentioning, with YouTube sending your video out to a broader and a broader audience, right? This is why if you post YouTube videos, if you go to your analytics and look at your click-through rate, that's why it kind of looks like it spikes in the first hour, and then after that first hour, typically for most people, your click-through rate declines and it gets clicked on less and less as a percentage because YouTube's sending it out to people who are unfamiliar with you. For the first hour, for the first 2 hours, it's sending it out to your subscribers or the people most likely to watch your video. And if it gets a good response from those first 2 to 3 hours, YouTube will send it out to a broader audience. Now that's where the challenge is. You need to make sure your video appeals to not only your subscribers, but also the broader audience. So if you have a click-through rate that actually remains stable for the first 4 to 8 hours and it doesn't actually decline, that's a really, really good sign to know that your video is about to go viral or be pushed out to a broader audience.
I used to look at click-through rate a lot, but it's only relative to the amount of impressions that you have. And so if you're getting a ton of impressions, that means YouTube's casting a wide net for you. And so then a natural lower click-through rate makes sense. So the better your video does, the worse the analytics look. All right, so now I'm done with this here. Interesting that I'm taking a unique approach on, but I think this is what I'm going to start doing from now on, is I'm not pitching the video that we did on this. The reason for that is they just got all the value that they would see from this video. So instead I'm pitching a video that relates to this subject. So the video that I dragged from it was how I lost $2.5 million. The video that I'm pitching at the end of this is my plan to buy $1 billion of real estate. Because the next unfulfilled desire for them is not going to be how we lost $2.5 million. It's what we're hooking them to. And so I think this is going to have a much higher conversion rate to actual views on the video. And you could do this, that the principles would be the same if you were pitching them to a product, if you were pitching them to anything. Whatever call to action there would be doesn't really matter. It's just how do you make it to where they need that as their solution. And every single great copywritten article, newsletter, tweet thread is going to have that component to it.
Yeah, I mean, you only really need, like, if you're a business owner, the most you should be paying is you should be paying a specialist for $50 for 1 hour of their work. Because, like, I think the most work you need is, like, it doesn't take us an hour to do this, but you do need a specialist or someone who's written before to clean up all of the AI garbage at the end. But that doesn't take an hour.
No, but it's specialized work.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you were saying. Without the specialized work, this would be 10 times less effective. Because if people don't read the first line, then they're not going to read the whole thing.
So here's a funny example. I used to pay some guy, I'm not going to say what country because he'll know if I'm talking about him, but I used to pay some guy in the developing world like $50 to write me some of these emails. And I believe he used to spend like 4 to 6 hours on this email, creating me an email from my YouTube videos. And like I was thinking, I got a bargain. I'm paying this guy, less than $10 an hour. The emails are okay, but I would still have to spend 30 minutes or an hour at the end cleaning it up. Now, I thought this was a win because it takes me 3 hours to write an email. So if I'm thinking, right, I'm paying this guy $50 to save me 2 hours of my time, that's a win for me. Until I found ChatGPT.
Well, I was fucking calling you up for a long time.
I know.
Dude, why are you not using this? It's actually so powerful. And I hate AI, but I know how important it is. This stuff is incredibly powerful. I suck at AI, and I can get incredibly good results with it. If someone with a little bit larger brain than me and liked AI from a personal standpoint was using this, they would crush it.
No, that's not me. I got a pretty small brain. I don't love AI.
But you're going to copyright it. And so now this does the same thing that you were doing, but it's just better. It's just better. And that's the truth. This is just better than what most humans write.
We finished the email. I think it's always good to zoom out and kind of talk about the broader picture. Okay? We're moving into this world where technology is getting rapidly better every single year. You need to make the decision. Are you going to be watching the content and, scrolling on the content that's being suggested to you by AI? Like, we have lots of friends who spend hours on TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat.
We don't really have friends
like that. Let's say we have old friends who are controlled by these algorithms, right? Or are you going to be someone who is able to actually utilize technology for benefit and for good and use that to create more content, putting out a positive message about the world? So I think there's two types of people in the world that we're moving into. You're either going to use technology or be used by it.
I would say right now, because what I'm trying to learn is how to be a better storyteller for my clients, I'm actually watching a ton of content. So I was saying we study Ryan Trahan. We study the best people in the space, and most people would say, what the hell does Ryan Trahan have to do with you making more money? It does. It actually has everything to do with it right now. And so I'm spending more time on social media scrolling than I ever have because I'm reverse engineering what they're doing and why it works. Because results don't lie. If you're getting 10 million views per video, that is for a reason. And so how do you incorporate this kind of storytelling into business videos, which have never been done before? That's how you get yourself in a league of its own. Alex Hormozi was in its league of its own. Now everyone's trying to copy Alex Hormozi. When what Alex Hormozi he was just himself, and he blew it up through a bunch of different reasons that I could go over. But let's say I wanted to do that for someone like Ken. You don't try and be Alex Hormozi. That's the wrong approach, and that's what everyone's trying to do. You want everyone to try and be like you. And so we're going to try and take a whole new angle on business videos with Ken, starting in September. And so we'll see how it works. So how do I actually break down a Ryan Trahan video?
Now I'm going to mic Josh up because the boys are actually going to do a pull-up contest. PJ, the man, I think he has the best pull-ups I've ever seen. So we're going to mic Josh up. Josh, how do you feel about the challenge, mate?
I'm giving PJ a chance here. I think this is the only lift where he has a chance. Maybe dips. I think dips, he'd probably fuck me up.
Okay.
But last time we were here, PJ was doing 30 pull-ups in a row. We'll see.
Just smugly, yeah, do 30 pull-ups.
We'll see what happens. I'm coming in here confident, ready to kick some ass.
Let's go. Well, you boys can do a pull-up contest. I haven't actually done a pull-up in 6 weeks because my old man's back. I got a slip disc. I might try to do one for the video, but I want to see you guys do a contest first. You want to be mic'd up during the contest?
Just to hear me fucking breathing.
Yeah, I want to hear it. The boys, they all want to hear it. All right, let's go. Where are you doing it?
I'll do it right here.
Okay, let's go.
If we were doing chin-ups, he might actually have me in this. I'm a lot better at the overgrip.
Okay, so you guys, this has to be an overgrip contest. Are you counting?
I actually not.
It's about 10.
Something like that.
Maybe.
He's definitely not.
30,
It's actually looking pretty solid.
18. Vamos! 90.
21 right now.
21, 22. Is my Spanish good, Pam? Are you impressed?
Wow, that's a lot.
24?
PJ's gonna
Nice,
destroy
man.
me.
24.
I think it might have been 23.
Solid. Did you count in Spanish? That's the
No.
question everyone wants to know.
So because we're only eating steak right now, I can tell my iron levels are super messed up because the second I hopped off the bar, everything's just spinning right now.
Interesting.
Super lightheaded.
Same effect.
Yeah.
Okay, jump into it. Yeah, because I've noticed something similar. I've been mostly carnivore keto for like the past 4 years, but I've noticed some fruits actually helps, especially with training.
Yeah, the people who say only steak, I don't know. I think having fruits and vegetables are very just natural.
So plants aren't going to kill you, Josh.
Only plants will.
Only plants. Yeah, I agree with that. We're going to film PJ.
You've always got to shoot for
He's
more
mic'd up?
than you want to get. Josh got 23, so I'm going to shoot for my max 30.
Are you confident?
I'm confident I'm going to get him. I haven't done this many pull-ups in a while, and I have been training pull-ups a lot, but since it's a challenge, I gotta whip his ass.
Come on.
Max out a long time, PJ.
Yeah.
Well,
Vamos.
this will be a max, so.
Jump in. You gotta. That's clean. That's clean. It's not,
Oh, I'm so winning this.
not looking good for you, bro.
Oh my god. Dude, he's gonna do fucking 40 guys.
Yeah, he looks. That looks like a Saturday morning breakfast for PJ.
Yeah.
He's absolutely chowing that
He
down.
did just eat a bunch of steak before he came here.
For real? How long ago?
Probably an hour. What are you at?
I think that's 28, dude.
No. He's pretty quick out the gate. Vamos.
29. Is that 30 or 35?
30.
You got 35 in you.
Vamos.
I think I got
Solid, man.
32. We're gonna have to check back on the video, but I definitely won.
Definitely.
There we go. Now I'm going to embarrass myself. My personal best is probably 5.
That might be my new max.
Really?
Yeah, 32. Wow, I feel the same way you did, Josh.
I've got 6 in me, maybe.
That was performance.
Luke looks strong up there.
That's all I've got.
Come on, Luke. You look good. You look good doing it.
6. Alright, that's all I got.
It's producer Pam's turn.
Yeah, vamos.
I can do that one.
Get PJ to lift you. Normally, I actually have to like
Oh, but
lift Pam up
can't
from
do
the
it.
legs
Yeah,
and
no,
Oh no, there's a box right there.
yeah, vamos.
Oh, yeah, you can step up.
fuck, I don't think I know.
Do it with the backpack, weighted pull-ups.
She needs
Pam might be
extra
the only
weight.
girl I know that can do pull-ups. It's crazy.
Besides my mom.
Hey, you'll be
Mom
fine.
No,
Just-
yeah, that's a
just
lot.
grab it.
She
I reckon
do
you
10
get 3.
Or at least she used to. Maybe.
Yeah, but grab it like this. Yeah. Vamos. Una,
Look at that.
dos,
She might have better form than all of
tres.
us.
Keep going. You're right.
Producer Pam.
Cuatro. One more. You're on camera. Don't crumble under pressure, Pam.
Luke in here.
Yeah, come on. One more.
No.
No, you're done.
Yeah, I'm balanced a lot, so it doesn't
Wow.
count.
Serviceable.
She's got better form than all of us.
She's better than me. She nearly did more than me, I think. There you have it. That's a push-up contest or pull-up contest here in Colombia. We're actually going to go do some work now.